mate.
Cheers, mate. Week 3 in the books. Eric, I need a beer for this episode
I think that's a good idea.
because I need to be sedated after last week's debacle. I don't have a lot of words for the pain and the anguish that was last week.
You had a rough one, I know.
Getting ready for a wedding, killing some time.
Uh-huh.
And week 3, I think, was the reminder to us, because we've been hot.
We've been doing okay.
Some of the teams have been hot. I was 7-1. Our calls have been hot.
Mm-hmm.
We were on a roll.
Yeah.
And this week was a bit of a, I don't want to say a crash and burn, a wake-up call, if you will. A check yourself.
It was kind of, yeah.
Check yourself at the door, brother.
It was kind of like a, you thought we thought we knew everything after the first couple weeks. We thought the NFL showed us their hand, all their cards. We knew what they had in their pocket. And week 3 came and slapped us both right in the face.
Yeah.
So now it's time to rethink, reevaluate. I think teams are finally settling into their identities, who they want to be. Players are going to show us exactly who they are now.
I agree. It's a Wednesday. I'm glad we got a little time to, for me at least, to just diffuse. I was
Too hot.
honestly thought the world was ending on Sunday. And, I mean, really tonight's show, we're going to go into the guys that essentially participated in ruining my Sunday. And then we're going to go into the week 4 matchups for you. Get those guys in your lineup that you want. Get those guys out of your lineup that are going to kill you. I know you put together a pretty comprehensive list. 8 guys.
8 guys who are back from the dead. Previously written off by us, other fantasy gurus, the world, all together.
Everybody.
8 guys, big name players, who are ready to come back and make an impact. We're going to run through them, just kind of give you our take on them, what to expect the rest of the year, whether we're buying, selling, holding, love them, hate them,
Squeeze them.
squash them,
Never leave them.
eat them, love them,
Please them.
please them,
God.
stroke them,
Okay.
whatever we're going to do.
Let's
All
keep
right,
it
so
PG.
number 1, I think the guy we got to hit on, Jordan Howard.
Oh, my God.
Howard comes roaring back against the Pittsburgh Steelers for a 23-carry day, 138 yards on the ground, 2 touchdowns. He came into the game with a hurt shoulder.
Sling. Looking like Matt Vallow.
And it was crazy because you could see that it was affecting him. There were a couple runs, especially ones down the sideline, where he did a full turn with his body to avoid being hit in that shoulder. But still a fantastic day.
So you watched the whole film on him?
I didn't watch the whole flim.
I saw a GIF and he looked good.
But he looked good.
Yeah.
I saw some runs. He looked good, and by all accounts, that's the story. At home, Chicago ends up winning 23-17. What are you doing with Jordan Howard?
Well, the first thing I did, Eric, was pull up Tariq Cohen's stats because I didn't vigorously go through the game log, especially that one.
Yeah.
But he still put up 12 for 78 and caught 4 for 24.
Right.
But obviously this is a huge development in a guy who a lot of people had benched, and a lot of people were looking to sell, obviously.
I mean, I know we had labeled him kind of as a bust coming into the season, and within 2 weeks we were looking pretty good, but
I
kind
think
of stuck that up our butts right there in week 3. I'm still okay with him. I think his ceiling might be a high-end 2 ceiling. I think you're still rolling him out there. I don't think Cohen's going to take over the job.
No, that's fine.
I think that's Cohen's maximum going to see 12 carries a week.
So get to the burning
touches.
question.
What is that?
Do you feel comfortable now? Are you trading for him Is this someone
No,
that
I'm
you're
not trading
targeting?
for him because that's probably going to be his best game on the year.
Okay.
If I get RB1 value for him as an owner, I would sell him for
Who
sure.
They got the Packers this week,
Thursday night.
Thursday night. How have the Packers been against the run? Well, it might not matter. Packers could go up
Packers
21
could go up
nothing in
and
the
he could be
first quarter.
irrelevant.
Okay.
But
So yeah, I guess
For
quick
me-
summary. It's
for me, still an RB2. I'm not
fine.
jumping ship if I'm an owner, but if somebody wants to give me a nice price on him, I'll sell him.
Okay.
Next guy I got my boy. I stayed up late to watch him Sunday night, and he won me my matchup with the last catch of his performance.
Yes.
Mr. Larry, old man Fitzgerald.
I don't know if there's a better feeling than that because I had that Julio.
There's
week
nothing
one.
like it.
Last catch
nothing
of
like
the
it.
last
You're
drive.
waiting up, you're sitting watching the game, you're all butterflies, your stomach is doing jumping jacks, and you're just waiting for
See
your
your
guy to make a play. And Larry made plenty of them to the tune of 13 catches, 149 yards, and a touchdown, 15 targets. I was never really too down on Larry to begin with, but he
I
just didn't
was.
pop off. I know you always
I
hate on
was.
Larry, but I mean, for Christ's sake, the dude has, do this math, 13 targets week 1, 6 targets week 2, and 15 this week against Dallas.
So that's 30 minus 2
34.
is
Oh, look, they
28
did the
plus
math
4.
for me right
Oh,
there.
oh.
34 targets, 22 catches, 244 yards, and a touchdown. They constantly target him in the end zone, too.
Yeah. So I think that's a really good point. I don't know. I feel this was one of the things that really hurt me this week because I said, J.J. Nelson was ready for what, his 8th game in a row, 9th game in a row with a touchdown?
Yeah.
I finally get this mother father into my lineup, and he puts up, I believe, a goose egg.
Yeah.
Granted, he was nursing a hamstring. You and I were talking back and forth. He did not look right that first half.
No.
But on that last drive, or the second to last drive, when he had almost caught that
Yeah,
ball,
that one, yeah.
and then
The one that
Palmer
Bruce
overthrew him.
Arians challenged inexplicably.
He might be one. He just tumbled down my list of favorite coaches.
Yeah, I saw something float around the internet
That
that he owed some Vegas people money and he needed the under to hit because he
I
made some very questionable
not going
calls.
field goal.
Never kicking the field goal at the end of the game. He calls that little flat route
my
on
God.
4th down, 3rd down, or whatever, inside the 5. Anyway,
punts it with 4 minutes left.
yeah, just outrageous stuff. But so I'm still high on Larry. I honestly think he could finish as a back end one based on volume alone. Just to give you a peek at his schedule coming up too.
Yeah,
Home against San Fran. Great game.
nice.
In Philadelphia. They have no corners.
Okay.
Home against Tampa Bay. Then he's at the Rams. He's got a bye. Then he's at San Fran. Home against Seattle.
Tough.
At Houston.
Tough.
Home against Jacksonville.
Tough.
Then he's got the Rams. And then playoff weeks, he's got Tennessee, Washington, and the Giants. I mean,
It's not.
nothing really scares me too much. Especially
Yeah.
since he lines up in the slot 80%
No,
of the time
I know. I don't
anyway.
think
It's
he's getting covered by Norman or Janoris.
nobody's following him.
Yeah.
in the slot.
No, listen, I get it. He's clearly not going away. I think I want to blame some of this though on J.J. Nelson being phased out and being a decoy.
Okay.
I'm not ready to write it off. We've seen enough of him as a explosive
I
playmaker.
think you're more concerned about J.J. Nelson than Larry Fitzgerald.
Yes, I am in a vacuum because you were talking about one of the greatest careers of all time versus a guy who's emerging as
So where's Larry for you? Where does he finish on the year, and where is J.J. Nelson?
he's
finish
a
on the year?
WR2 comfortably, and J.J. Nelson
Okay.
now has a lot to prove, but I would say he should be able to finish within the top 36.
Wow. Okay. So
So I'm not
wide
ready to
receiver
write him
3.
off yet, and I start him in my flex comfortably this next week.
Okay, next man up, Brandon Cooks.
Oh man, well this was kind of just inevitable. I
Got
don't
him.
know. I don't think you and I ever wrote him off. I think you and I just agreed that he was going to be very frustrating to own.
Yeah. I mean, has he been? I mean, he's had 2 decent. Okay.
Yeah.
So he had 7 targets, 5 catches, big yardage day, 131 yards, 2 touchdowns, and 2-point conversion. I didn't know about that. The last touchdown was fantastic. Did you see it?
I
to
saw
win the game.
I saw it.
What a throw brought by Brady.
Yeah, he's the
maybe
GOAT.
him and maybe Aaron Rodgers, the only guys in the league that make that throw.
Yeah.
So anyway, only 7 targets though. Week before he had 4 targets, 7 targets before that. No, I'm not so sure about Cooks. He's gonna have these weeks where he's gonna be a wide receiver 1, but he's gonna give you a lot of weeks, like he gave you the first 2, where he's scoring 10 and 5 points. He's just not getting enough of the target share in New England to give you consistent.
Somebody said this.
Even 2 numbers.
I'll give him credit. My brother-in-law said this.
Yeah.
Mr. DeGiorio.
Yeah.
At the beginning of the season, that he's really not going. If he finishes higher, he ain't going to finish that much higher than Chris Hogan. And right now,
they're seeing
that's
very similar target
proving
share.
to be the
To be
same.
honest.
They both get. If anything, Hogan's getting a little more end zone love.
Yeah.
I mean, he's being targeted
Red
close to the
zone
line.
look,
So
yeah.
let's watch how that play out. But yes, you expect games like this. He will be frustrating to own.
Yeah.
I think he's
Not-
a WR2.
Yeah, but the thing, I don't think many people drafted him as their 1 either. That was kind of the story. I think a lot of people did.
You had to. A lot of those guys took a running back in the first round, and then he was on the way back.
Yeah, I mean, we kind of appreciate that was a mistake, but
Next up,
T.Y. Hilton has a big game home against Cleveland with upstart Jacoby Brissett leading the way. They get the W, 31-28 over the Browns. Hilton goes 7 for 153.
Jesus.
And a nice long touchdown. He had 9 targets on the day. Hilton looked good, especially on that long catch and run.
Yeah.
My thing with him is that it was a long catch and run. I think he
Right.
only caught it 11 yards down the
And they
field
just did all the
and then
damage themselves.
ran by like 4 different defenders. So I'm not going crazy over Hilton. He might be more of a sell from me than a buy, simply because I don't trust Jacoby Brissett. That was literally his first passing touchdown of his career. I know he hasn't played that many games. He's played the 2 with the Colts here,
And then the Patriots.
and then he had a game with the Patriots last year.
Yeah, I think he's a sell, but I mean it's interesting that I think the difference here is that it's not Scott Tolzien, who you know who he is. He's just
Right.
terrible. I think Brissett has upside, and I think in certain matchups, he can kind of give Hilton
Give
the
you
juice
something.
he needs. So, schedule coming up.
Schedule coming up. They're in Seattle this week. Not
Yeah.
looking promising there. Then they're home against San Fran, in Tennessee, home against Jacksonville, then 2 back-to-back road games in Cincinnati, in Houston, then home against Pittsburgh
It's
before their
really
week
back
11
and
bye.
forth. You hate Seattle. You like San Fran. Tennessee,
Yeah.
I kind of like. Jax is tough now
Tough,
with the
yeah.
Bouye.
Yeah,
Since he's always a grinder.
yeah.
And Houston
Houston's
supposedly should be tough.
Although they have a million injuries in the secondary.
Correct.
Not in love with the schedule. Again, I'm not in love with T.Y.,
Yeah.
but as an owner, you got to be super happy to get that game out of him.
For sure.
Because right now your expectations are pretty freaking low.
Absolutely.
Next guy, Samwell, Thursday night, Watkins.
Oh,
I
boy.
literally typed in Samwell Watkins like an idiot.
When you read it, it comes out of your fingers.
So Sammy had his first big game of the season. He had 6 catches, 106 yards, 2 touchdowns. One of them, he had a little Des Bryant in him, bullying his way into the end zone. I think he took a nice lick on the back end of that, but he turned out to be okay.
I'm really upset that I missed with my eyes the greatest Thursday night football game of all time.
It was great. Yeah, it was a really great game.
I was working late for the squad.
Well, good for you. Working hard.
For the
That's a-
squad.
What a guy. So anyway, prior to his blow-up game here, he had a 2 for 30 game and a 5 for 58. So not great volume right now. He's got 14 targets on the year.
Sure.
He's caught 13 of them, which is pretty nice. But simply not getting enough volume right now to put him in the even wide receiver 2 discussion.
My
for
opinion?
me. Yeah.
Buy.
Yeah.
And quite simply, it's because the offense is competent. You've seen the best of Cup, we think, and he might make me look like a fool next week. But I think Sean McVay is realizing this is our guy. This is the playmaker. The offense is going to be generated.
I think he knew that when they brought him in.
Yes.
But I think it also might just be a matter of Watkins giving a little time to pick up the offense.
I agree.
You always the immediate performance from these guys switching teams, especially late in the game,
Yes.
like Watkins did, it can be tough. But right now, I mean, I would probably rank him as a boomer bust wide receiver 3 type. But I'm kind of with you. If you could buy him at that price, I'm with it. We were high on the Rams early in the year, and they have shown us, including Todd Gurley, to
That's
be
right.
just Sean McVay
So, I'm
working
in on
his
that.
magic.
I'm in
So
on
we're
that.
buying Samwell. Don't type that in your computer, though. You won't find him. AJ Green going to be the next guy up here for us. He finally popped off. He was the squeaky wheel in the offense, and they greased him good this week to the tune of 13 targets, 10 catches, 111 yards, and the 1 touchdown. They went to him early and often. I think it's pretty straightforward. Green. If you're an owner, you're probably not selling him.
And now they got Cleveland coming up.
Probably can't buy him either.
You can't buy him.
He's
You're
a wide receiver
just
one.
relieved as an owner.
Yeah.
The offense should get right. I think this is one of those.
A little turnaround with Bill
This
Lazor.
is some changes in the coaching staff. There's some fire under their ass.
Yeah.
They're shaking their ass.
Although
to
they're
get
still
this
lost
thing right.
in Green Bay.
And that's fine.
Yeah.
And I think the point being though.
You wanted to see improvement.
This is for me. This is the one of the offenses where really slow to start because of again nobody plays a preseason anymore.
Yeah.
It's like you're playing your first game week 1 and week 2. So this is an easy one. You're happy. You're buying.
We're happy. Next man up, Doug Baldwin.
Yeah.
Out in Seattle, Russell Wilson finally pops off. So therefore, of course, Doug Baldwin has to pop off. He had 15 targets, a healthy 15. Caught 10 of them for 105 yards, 10 touchdowns. He also left the game with a groin injury.
Right.
Current news is that they're planning for him to play this week, so it doesn't look like his status is in trouble there. So 10 catches, 105 yards, and a touchdown in Tennessee. This was encouraging to see out of the Seattle offense as a whole, just kind of getting things going.
Yeah. For me, and maybe you're thinking the same thing. I think this is about the pass rush that they face. I think if Wilson has the time in the world, then he should go off.
Yeah.
And I'm looking at your screen, and I'm seeing. I love this Indianapolis matchup.
Love the home matchup against Indy.
But then the Rams could ravage him.
Rough time.
And then the
in
Giants can get to the quarterback, and Houston can get to the quarterback. Washington can get to the
in
quarterback.
Arizona.
And Arizona can get to the quarterback.
Atlanta.
They got
San
playmakers,
Fran,
but they always somehow overwhelm. So
Philly can.
I don't know. You got to you just got to understand that as a Baldwin owner that we're officially living with the protection.
Ideally, you'd want to pair Baldwin with a high floor guy. Maybe not as much of like a Demaryius Thomas, a Larry Fitzgerald.
Yeah, you're
a
right.
guy
He's
who's
a week winner. He's gonna have
He's
to
a
be
week winner, but
this year.
he's also going to have weeks
A week winner, a week killer.
where he scores 8, 7 like he did in weeks 1 and 2.
Mm-hmm.
So depending on what you're looking for in your roster, it could be a buy or sell.
Yeah.
But I think Baldwin high end too.
Yep.
That's where he'll finish at the end of the
Do
year.
you think, though, back to last point with Green, now that we've got 3 weeks on our belt,
Yeah.
are offenses getting more comfortable? Maybe the concerns with the line were a little overblown, and just the offense should play better.
Who are you
Wilson
talking
should
about?
play better. The
Seattle?
Seahawks, yeah.
I mean, they kind of do this every year. They have a shitty offensive line. They have
And then they pick
a
it up
bunch
at the
of
end,
like
right?
blow up games.
Yeah.
Towards the end of the year.
Yeah.
I mean, it's encouraging to see them do it this early
Yes.
now.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think Chris Carson gives them the whole offense as a whole a boost.
That is
because
actually a good point.
He's generating
That's
a lot
really
of
good
yards
point, yeah.
without the help of the offensive line.
Yes, sir.
So if they create any kind of running game, obviously it'll help the compliment.
Yes,
you.
oh, you're
Passing
gonna love
time.
this next one. Oh, you've been waiting on this one.
So
you
the final guy,
son of a bitch. Sorry.
Is there a frog in the studio? Is
At least it
DeMarco
didn't come out of
Murray.
my ass.
DeMarco Murray, back from the dead.
What was his line?
He finished with 14 carries, 115 yards, boosted by, I think, a 70-yard touchdown where he outran everybody.
How does a guy this slow get run for 70 yards?
Because I'm telling you, he didn't look that slow. He looked fine. Like, this hamstring injury was like...
Oh, my God. This was against Seattle?
Was
This
like...
is 2 games in a row now. Seattle has
Seattle's
let up a long
Yes.
run.
Yeah. I mean, granted, they're letting out the production on long runs, which can fluctuate, but I get it. I get it.
Let's monitor that. Let's just be cognizant.
DeMarco, there's all this talk, oh, Derrick Henry's coming in, he's going to be number one, DeMarco Murray, you can drop him, blah, blah, blah. Sorry. I said it last week. As long as he's healthy, it's his job. Now, I am going to shit on myself a little bit because we played each other in the Mansion League this week, where I have DeMarco Murray.
Yes.
And I completely overthought it. I was worried. I read the report. His hamstring is this, blah, blah, blah. I went against what I said, and I actually sat him.
Right.
For like Devin Funchess or something.
Ouch.
And thank God it didn't bury me.
Because I overthought things and started Yaquiz Rogers over Chris Hogan.
So shame on the both of us.
Which I had not been planning on doing.
For thinking we're smarter than everybody in the world.
Yeah.
So DeMarco Murray, back to the guy.
Yeah.
We actually have to give a take on him. Do you feel good about him as a back end 1, high end 2, safe floor? Derrick Henry's not threatening. What do you think?
I've got too much bias against this guy. I still am going to hold on to that inkling that he will get hurt at some point and Henry takes over. And, one game's not going to change my mind. It's just not.
Well, I will tell you that...
And I'm not buying him. I know you might want him, and that's fine.
Hoping for an injury out of a guy who is not oft injured is quite foolish. And I also am going to go out on a limb here. Maybe not even so much of a limb, but Tennessee's offensive line is the best in the league. By the end of the year, they will be known better than the Cowboys. They've surrendered 2 sacks all year. That was against Seattle, who has a formidable front 4.
Correct.
That was against Jacksonville.
With playmakers.
They have
Calais
Campbell, Fowler, these guys.
Mack
and they've also faced Oakland week 1. Khalil Mack didn't touch Mariota at all.
Okay.
So I'm in on those guys. No, that's our back from the dead.
I got a bonus for you.
You got a bonus.
Kenneth Britt. Woo! The second that you thought it was safe to drop him and waste all your money on our boy Rashad Higgins.
Hollywood Higgins.
Another switcheroo that just really was a dagger to my heart. I know, we talked for about 2 seconds before the show, but you're not buying yet. You're giving them titties.
I wish I had more hands so I could give those titties 4 thumbs down.
so you're not. Oh God. Okay. So you're not with it. That's fine. I just think I don't know. We could talk about what 2 pickups.
But now you're kind of going against your own advice because the argument for Britt would be like, oh, somebody has to catch the ball, and every week on here you're like, oh, I hate the argument somebody's got to catch the ball.
Okay.
Now you're telling me somebody's got to catch the ball in Cleveland.
Yeah. I'm okay. What I'm saying is waivers are extremely thin right now in 12 and 14 teams.
This week was thin.
Super thin.
Very thin, yeah.
And I think...
No injuries,
just
really.
Whatever. Speculate. Throw a couple Bitcoin at him,
Okay.
But monitor.
Okay. But I'm not playing him next week.
No, that's fine. But just, it's worth noting that he scored a touchdown, was the leading receiver.
10 targets is the most important stat.
Yes.
Rather than the bullshit touchdown that he scored and the 3 for 50 or whatever he put
Okay,
up.
well...
10 targets. Go with that. Opportunity is
So he
half
did
the
have
battle.
10.
He had 10 targets.
Beautiful. Okay, so I'll take it.
Only caught 3 balls.
So that's fine. Inefficiency, that's the Browns' offense, but... Okay.
Moving on.
So we're gonna jump into the games for the second half of the show. A lot of games to get through because there's no buys, and then we're gonna go Eric's 3 lock of the weeks on Thursday, aka the night that you'll be watching this. Bears Packers face off.
Yeah.
What's your take?
So Packers open up here as a 7-point favorite. Bears. People are going to be high on them and the team overall because they had a nice showing at home against Pittsburgh. But I don't put a lot of faith in Chicago here. I think Green Bay comes out strong. I would have more faith in them if they're starting 2 tackles. Balaga and Bakhtiari were healthy. There was news today that they are not going to play. And neither is big boy up front, Mike Daniels. We had mentioned him last week. I think he's a big part of their defense.
Yeah.
So
He talks good shit too.
Chicago, that's a big part of a defense right there. You need a beefy guy talking shit right up front. So I think Chicago might be able to hang in for a little bit here, especially if they get the ground game going without Daniels. Also for the Packers, Nick Perry, their top pass rusher. He just had surgery on his hand or his thumb or something. He's going to be playing with a club on his hand if he plays. So the Packers on defense are banged up a little bit, especially in the front. But the offense is still humming with Aaron Rodgers. Randall Cobb returned to practice in full this week. Montgomery has been taken off the injury report, so it looks like they will going guns blazing home against Chicago. And off the short week, off an emotional victory, the first win of the year, Chicago.
Yeah.
I think Green Bay rolls here. You're playing all your Packers. You're rolling out Jordan Howard and Tariq Cohen on the Bears side, and that's about it for them.
Yeah, I agree. Nothing else really. See if Montgomery can right the ship. I'm just looking at his line from last night. You're not concerned, right? Obviously, the inefficiency on the carries, 12 for 35.
No, he was inefficient through the air. He had like 8 receptions for 15 yards, which is just ridiculous. But he's out there so much.
Yeah.
In the
Still
best offense in the league. How
solidified RB1.
Yeah.
Maybe even top half. We'll see.
I mean, volume is half the battle, right?
Yeah, this game's I don't see much. You know, it is what it is. This game. I think you know who you start, you know who you sit. This is no surprise.
Right.
We're gonna fly across the pond
To London.
We're gonna go to London, brother. We're gonna go see the Dolphins and the Saints, and might be getting Aussie in there a little bit, but to me, this has got to be a get right game for the Dolphins.
I'm with you there.
Adam Gase was pissed, and rightfully so.
Yeah.
They just ruined the Jets' plan for the number 1 draft pick.
But yeah, not only that, the Jets look better than I thought they would.
It's just 2 games in a row they look not
especially
bad.
on defense.
They
play great defense.
The Raiders hammered them. So that
Raiders
pissed me off.
hammered them.
That pissed me off.
But at home, Jets defense especially came out to play, man. This kid Terrence Brooks, the backup safety, won Defensive Player of the Week with 2 picks.
Jamal Adams
had a nice game. I mean, everybody's playing pretty good on the Jets defense. Maybe they're not going to be the cakewalk that
doesn't look like you can string your defense against them either.
Can't, because Josh McCown's taking care of the football.
Taking care of business, and he's
waiting
working overtime.
I'm waiting for the inevitable. Like, McCown gets all this confidence. He's like, I'm 38 years old. This is my renaissance year. I'm coming in. Jets are hot.
Yes.
And he just he's dropping back, and he starts to move around. He's like, I got this. I got a little juke and jive in me.
Yes,
and he
sir.
takes off for a scramble. He's running, and he just gets hammered.
I'm waiting for the double helicopter
That we put his ass through.
triple
When
helicopter.
he was on the Browns 2 years ago.
Correct.
It'll come. Mark my words. And he will go down with an injury. And then it's going to be Petty time. It's going to be Hackenberg time.
Yep.
And that's when the Jets come full circle. And that'll be it. But until then, McCown's keeping them in games.
So on the Jets,
back to London.
Sorry, yeah. So we'll get it. I think you're starting all your Saints, so actually the only news on the Saints side is
No,
Snead.
big news is Snead coming
Snead
back.
coming back
with
an
also-
unclear role.
Yeah.
The
So
guy who he's replacing has played well, and that's
who are you
been
talking about? Brandon Coleman?
pesky. Brandon Coleman has
Get
played
out
well.
of here, yo. He has 3 targets on the year.
That cannot be true.
Click him. I don't know.
Yeah, what are you talking about?
But he's been playing the slot, Snead's position. Look him up, get his stats. I'm not buying Brandon Coleman. He's done this in the past. Snead is clearly the better receiver.
Okay.
So please stop it with that.
All right. Stop.
Although, I will say, if you can afford it, I would leave Snead on the bench this week
Oh.
just to see what he does. You want to see him play, 75, 80% of the snaps. You want his snaps to be up there. But there's a decent risk built in, I think, here with essentially his first game of the year.
Yeah, I'm not starting him if I'm an owner. I mean, I don't have any stocks. I don't really feel the passion
start.
that you do right now, but it's a non-start for me,
Did
unbiased
you look up
speaking.
Brandon Coleman for me? Do I have to do this?
You told me not to because you said it wasn't even worth it.
No, I got him.
Okay.
I got him.
On the
He has
Dolphins.
10 targets on the year.
Yeah, and with 2 touchdowns.
Are you kidding? You're buying Brandon
I'm not
Coleman?
buying. I'm just saying it's needed. Like they don't know
What are
his
you
role
saying?
yet.
What
They
are you
don't
saying?
know his role. He's
What are you
not gonna
saying?
just.
Because Coleman either has to play for Snead or he has to play for Ted Ginn. Who's he playing for?
Okay.
Nobody.
Well, fine. So if I'm a Ginn owner, he's flex. If I'm a Snead, he's sitting. If I'm Michael Thomas, he's starting. Breeze is starting.
I ain't too
Saints-
excited about either. He kind of sucks.
He scored a touchdown last week, and it was a long one.
He's alright. But, that's what you're praying for with Ted Ginn. It's a Ted Ginn story.
Yeah, I mean, if you're okay, fine. The more interesting side of the ball here is the Dolphins. Clearly, it's.
Yeah.
Are you
Well, he wants to
concerned?
bounce back.
And oh, by the way, that game, I streamed the Dolphins. Playing against Devontae Parker. I'm playing against Bilal while I also sit him.
Somebody started Bilal against you?
Yeah.
Ugh.
So I
They
just
didn't deserve
got
to win.
the entire time while watching.
Speaking of
Jay
Bilal,
Giant,
Forte is week to week now, they're saying, with this turf toe injury.
which is awesome.
So
Could not come any sooner.
Powell hopefully can hold off the other running back,
Pow!
E. McGuire. What's
Yeah.
his name?
Edgar.
E. McGuire.
Edgar? EJ?
E. We're gonna go with E.
Ethan.
Could be.
Okay.
Could be just E. McGuire.
Okay. So why don't we just get off? All right. You know what? Just start a Jai. Dolphins get right. Who's winning this game?
Well.
We won't get there yet. Didn't mean to foreshadow by accident. So we've been talking about the Jets. I'm going to skip right over Texans, Titans, Jets,
Where are you
Jaguars.
bouncing around now? Jets, Jags. Okay.
Yeah, because the Jets are a hot topic right now,
Are
and
they
a lot
hot?
of Jets fans are watching right now.
What do you want to talk about the Jets? You want to talk about Austin Seferian-Jenkins, how he's a dart throw tight end play, played 67% of the snaps in week 3, led the team in targets with 6. If you're
nice.
desperate for a tight end, like most people are, I
Yeah.
think, he could be worth a grab here against Jacksonville. I'm not overly excited about it, but yeah,
Are you back
I mean,
in
whatever.
on Robbie Anderson?
Absolutely not.
Absolutely not. Yeah.
I was a little. I mean, I drafted him in one of my leagues coming into the year, but just seeing weeks 1 and 2,
Yeah.
Jermaine Kearse dominating targets.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, Robbie Anderson pops off for the long one, but like, what
No,
did he do? That was.
Well, you and I pictured a guy that was literally going to get 10 to 12 targets out of just literally
Desperation.
Desperation.
Like, I envisioned us down by 20 every game.
right.
The latest by 8 minutes into the third quarter.
Yes.
So now we're just hucking it,
Right.
and that's not the case.
And he's the number 1. And then they bring in
And
Jermaine
then they bring in
Kearse,
Kearse,
then
and they
it's
ruin everything. So he's.
Do you think the
Just
Jets
drop.
can pull out a sneaky victory here?
I do, because Jacksonville's offense doesn't scare me.
All right.
Their defense is strong. I'll give them that. But as the Jets showed last week, especially at home, they
Yeah.
play pretty solid defense.
This game, this could be 3-3 at halftime.
Could be a disgusting slobber knocker.
You know, Jets
game right now.
Jets could get a nice pick six in there somehow.
Yeah.
Maybe recover a fumble when Muhammad gets a snack in there, not a snack.
So we trust Fournette on the other side. The Jags receivers.
What if they game plan?
Lee Hearns. Real quick,
Like
you,
a giant.
you want Lee or Hearns the rest of the year?
I think I'm on Hearns now. I'm back with you.
Hearns because he's
It's
red
the
zone
touchdown. It's the red zone.
Thank you.
It's the red zone. Because you're not asking. You'd have to ask Lee to get like 100 yards a game.
And you need
without
to
a
get like
touchdown.
9, 10, 11 targets, something like that, which I
I'm
don't
with
think
you.
he's
It's-
getting.
Moving on. I'm
Moving
with you.
on. So Powell, we're a little excited about.
Yeah.
Over the final 4 games of 2016 with Forte hurt, just a little quick fact for you here. Powell was a top 10 scorer 3 times, averaging 74% of snaps and 51% of the team touches.
He was a fantasy winner. I mean, this is all he needed was this.
Yeah. So we'll see what happens with Wall.
Yeah.
Here.
Do you want to talk about Texans Titans? Is there even anything that we care about? I'm just completely uncompelled
looking
by
for
both of
Texans
these teams.
Titans.
It was before the Jets.
We skipped
yeah,
the game.
I skipped them because we were talking Jets.
You skipped Panthers Patriots though.
No, I did not. I'm
Yes, you
going
did.
by the NFL schedule.
Okay. All right. So who you want? You want Titans Texans?
Yes.
Yeah, because I want to ask you if you think Deshaun Watson is a viable streamer.
Oh, that's a great question.
We don't really talk quarterbacks a lot.
No, we
This
don't.
is a good question, I think.
It is a good question, and you just look at what happened last week. 300 yards, 2 touchdowns in Foxborough. He's only two rookies to do that.
Was that Watson or was that New England's just
Only other person to do that was Andrew Luck. That was Deshaun Watson. So
do what? You're talking about a rookie in Foxborough?
to do 302 touchdowns, yeah.
But this Patriots defense has been getting lit up by everybody.
The Titans defense is nothing to write home about either. I ain't calling mom and saying the Titans are good. They ain't remember these Titans. You know what I'm saying? They got liabilities in coverage.
Okay, but I think both teams here are of the same ilk. They want to play ball control. They want to run the ball. They want to impose their will.
All right, picture this. You know Deshaun
I don't think
Watson's
Watson's thrown the
responsible,
ball 30 times this
but
week.
he's responsible for 2 touchdowns plus a little bit of rushing. He might rush one and throw one. You don't like that? That's streamable.
I'm not saying I don't like it. I don't like him. I think he's streamable for 14 team or something like that.
Yeah.
Maybe there's more than 14 quarterbacks owned. He's streamable. I would temper expectation. I'm not like using last week as a benchmark.
Fine.
At all.
That's fair. I get it.
Who else? We're
I
going to
like-
talk about Devon. How do you pronounce this guy's name? Deontay.
Yeah.
Dunta.
I think the only
Foreman's a-
story developing. We haven't talked about Lamar Miller a lot, but
No.
it's because he's kind of been doing what we said. He's
Yeah.
underwhelming. And now he's losing his job. What happened last week? His usage was way up, right?
I wouldn't say he's losing his job, but yeah, Foreman is getting a lot more work as he gets more comfortable in the offense, as Bill O'Brien gets more comfortable with him.
Right.
And the only real knock on this guy coming out of college was that he wasn't great in the passing game, but he put up most of his yards. Excuse me. Pass in receiving last week. So I think he keeps cutting in. Honestly, this might work out okay for Miller too. We saw when he was with Miami, he was much more efficient when he wasn't getting 20 plus touches on the year.
Yeah.
Again, different scenario.
I don't
but,
buy it. I've watched games with him last year. He's just not good.
Just one of Lamar Miller's 49 carries have come from inside of the red zone and none inside the 10.
So that was my other question to you was goal line. Is that just unlucky? Is that or does that mean it's Dante who's the guy inside the 10?
I don't know if he's the guy yet, but he could very well be
Okay.
the guy in the
So
near future.
that's a good stat though. Red zone
I'm pretty
usage
low.
is
We were
basically
pretty low
nothing.
on Miller coming in. I'm still pretty low on him. I don't see him as a buy.
No. This is
And
I
I don't know if you could sell his ass right now.
Can't sell
Either, 'cause
this.
what are you
This
going
is
to get
this
for him?
is a guy. This is you as an owner. We told you not to draft him. You drafted him anyway,
And you didn't yet. Now you're.
and now you screwed the pooch, and you got to kind of live with the consequences of
Yeah.
this. So
I'm with you. I'm with
that's it. Moving on. You want to talk Panthers, Patriots?
you. Yeah, let's go back to that. All right. Panthers, Pats. I think we know what we're doing with the Patriots here. You're starting damn near everybody.
Yeah. You're throwing the kitchen sink at the Panthers.
Carolina side, I gotta take some heat for this because I was all over Cam saying he's gonna bounce back. He's an MVP 2 years ago,
And now was not.
and that he's just not he's not fully recovered from shoulder surgery. He's not throwing the ball with the velocity he's accustomed to throwing the ball with.
Right.
He's not running. Ron Rivera not letting him run, the freaking jerk. But I don't know how many more what else they got left here in their bag of tricks, this Carolina offense, because they might be forced to take the reins off and let him start moving. Because
But if he can't do it, well, you don't have to, because McCaffrey caught 10 balls last game. 9 on 10 targets.
I get it, but the offense as a whole is different when they let Cam run. If he's no threat to run,
I ain't gonna buy it. I just ain't gonna buy it. They have to keep him healthy, and they gonna have to figure out a way to do without him.
he's not healthy now.
Okay, so then they ain't gonna run the ball then.
I don't know. If I'm Brown, I'm letting him. I don't know what I'm doing if I'm Brown.
I'm not giving into that.
I don't know, but
We'll look out for it.
So listen, the only guy really to talk about here, McCaffrey. You got to be excited about.
Yeah,
Even though he's not really getting any carries, he's getting
work.
work
But
through
he's
the air.
He's done what we say. He ain't scoring touchdowns,
Yeah.
and he's getting passing work, and therefore
Okay,
he's kind of a
but the
wannabe
big
too.
name here, Devin Funchess.
Yeah, Kelvin is out for what, weeks?
Who knows? There's no structural damage for the
Oh.
guy. So you got to follow his practice reports. But I mean, what is Funchess right now? 17 targets over the past 2 weeks. Not really efficient at all. Just kind of borderline flex worthy here.
I mean, as soon as Kelvin got hurt, his points when you were scoring, you were not lighting me up, but like, you got up to 6 to 7 and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, he's flexible.
He's a volume play.
Yeah,
Volume
I
play.
think he's a volume play. Exactly.
Okay. All right, we're good here.
And
Where
we know
are we going?
He
now?
has some red zone chops. Right, kind of.
Yeah.
Steelers Ravens.
Okay.
Steelers side of the ball. Antonio Brown's a freak. Le'Veon Bell is pissing us off, and Martavis Bryant's pissing us off, and that's all I got to say about that.
Okay. I'm not worried about Martavis. He's had a bunch of long passing attempts that have been either called pass interference on the defense, just outside of his fingertips. He's going to give you a nice pop-off game against him. I'm not worried about him.
Okay.
But his ceiling is kind of tied to Roethlisberger, and on the road, you're not all that crazy about it.
That's the problem.
Right. But I think he's pretty safe. If you have him as a 3, even a 2, he'll be serviceable.
Fine.
Really, I want to talk about the Ravens offense and how much I just want to throw up all over my apartment when I'm watching them.
We could have added Terrence West to that list,
They're atrocious.
by the way.
Which list?
Your list
Back
of
from
AP
the dead?
Back from the dead.
Terrence West?
He hadn't died, but we were like,
What did he
Javorius
finish? What did he
is the
finish
guy.
with? What did Terrence
It
West?
didn't matter what he finished with. He was the guy the whole game.
Come on, man.
They
Now you're
didn't
getting-
use Buck Allen.
Terrence West had 6 carries. 26, you're back from the dead.
All I saw,
Put some more dirt on him. It's
all
over for
I
him.
saw was him on the field and no
Oh,
Buck
God.
Allen.
No, you saw Alex Collins on the field for the majority of the second half when the Ravens were behind.
Yeah, when
by
the game
85
was
points.
closer though, it was not Buck Allen. It was West who got the first carry. It was West who was on the field constantly.
So I don't trust any of them. How do you trust any of them?
I'm fine with that. Well, let's just leave it at that.
And it's so curious because Baltimore went from last year being the most pass-happy offense in the league
This is what's pissing me off.
to this year, they're the most run-heavy offense in the league. They have, I don't know what they're doing on offense.
Yeah,
I don't know. And Macklin has tanked. You can't start Macklin.
I mean,
You can't start Macklin with any kind of confidence right now. And just because you have him in a league, don't try to tell me that you're going to start him. Watson, I know he scored the most garbage touchdown of the year last week.
I got that notification.
Oh my God, the most just
Let's go.
meaningless. That it was like in Devontae Parker territory for garbage touchdowns.
Oh yeah, right from Ryan Mallet.
So
too.
Watson, we talked up last week. I'm not confident in his ass either.
You have to be. If this game plays out anywhere better than last game, it means that they get to a normal groove.
I think they will. They just the London thing. Maybe
The
it's
London
just not
thing-
there. Not for
Yeah,
both.
I don't think they
Not
know how
for
to
both.
fly on planes.
Not their thing.
So they got them damn snakes
I'm
off their
in wait and
planes.
see mode, if anything, with these Ravens guys though.
You have to be. I'm in wait and see in most of these teams now because we've been completely.
Well, you gotta decide on some things. Let's do Bengals and Browns.
Let's do it.
The ever exciting AFC North rivalry.
Do you think the Bengals continue? I don't want to say momentum because they lost last week, right?
They
But
lost.
do they continue this quote-unquote offensive momentum and crush the Browns, or does this thing stay competitive?
No, I
'cause
don't
it's
think
divisional?
they crush them because one, it's divisional and they're in Cleveland.
Okay.
On the Bengals side, I mean, I'm hoping Mixon, he seized control really last week. Now you want to see him become more efficient with his touches because he hasn't been efficient at all. I think he definitely has the talent to do it. I'm going to say right now, this is the last week to buy in on Joe Mixon.
Oh, I agree.
I
Oh,
was
I agree.
saying last week was like getting close.
Yeah.
And now his owners are hopefully wising up. If you have him, don't sell his ass yet because he is not near his potential.
Yeah,
I'm
I
not
think
selling.
we're not rocket scientists. We're not geniuses. Everybody was saying Mixon at some point in the year was going to become the guy,
And honestly, it's coming earlier than I thought.
and because of this coaching staff change.
Yeah.
It's because the way this season has started, and it was such a disaster. Bill Lazor comes in, and sorry, new rain comes in, new work comes in. That's just the way it's going to be. So if you're a Mixon owner, you're really happy because he was looking totally useless.
Dalton for me in the streaming conversation this week.
Yes.
And the story of the Browns for me is the backfield. Crowell continues to disappoint while Duke Johnson is being super efficient with his touches. So I'm starting him with confidence as a flex right now. Crowell, you probably have to keep starting him, probably as your RB2. If you draft him as your RB1, God be with you.
He's averaging less than 3 yards a carry behind an elite offensive
Yeah,
line. I
elite
just don't
offensive
get
line.
that.
I don't get it either. He's kind of, even last year, his best games came when they got him to that 15 carry mark.
Are you buying low there for him? That's a tough question.
It's tough. Depends what the price is, but I mean, I would buy low in the right situation because
Okay.
I think the best is yet to come from him. Yeah.
Well said. Let's move on to Lions Vikings. The switcheroo on what happened last week was actually good for both of us because I know we're feeling, we're feeling, and Case Keenum found a way to be elite for a game.
Yeah.
Do you buy continued success?
Definitely at home because he showed
Okay,
at home.
so maybe that's the distinction.
He can do it. Apparently, with this Minnesota crowd, I was reading, they're wild out there. When the defense is on the field, it's
Yeah.
one of the loudest places. And then when the offense is out there, you can literally hear a pin drop.
Oh wow!
And
So they're just a solid,
Keenum
just
can
a
communicate, no
Right.
problem. And with Diggs is legitimately, like, he looked like a combination of Antonio Brown and Odell Beckham. Just making these amazing catches. His ball skills are incredible. His athleticism was on display.
Yeah.
After the catch, fantastic. I'm ready to put Diggs in the locked in
Yeah.
as a 1,
Yeah.
man, because
If he's leading your squad, I'm feeling great.
the only thing holding him back is going to be the quarterback situation. But as
Yeah.
he showed last week, he can still do it. Thielen too. I'm still high on Thielen for sure as a wide receiver 3.
Yeah. I might bump him up to a 2 now.
The volume is there. You want to see him get in the end zone more, I think, if you're going to put him in 2
That's
conversation.
really well
But
said. He got a late red zone target that he dropped in the end zone, I believe. Diggs for me though is a 1. I mean, everyone who you took there, we talked about him. Cooks, Cooper, Baldwin, Dez, all those guys have fleas
Yeah.
right now.
Yeah, Diggs
And
is
this
looking
guy,
really hot.
Yeah.
In their backfield, Dalvin Cook continues to impress. For me, volume alone puts him in the back end 1 conversation.
Yeah.
27 carries last week. He's catching the ball.
Yeah.
He looks good.
He's like
Even
was he
behind
supposed to be?
their line has still not even graded out that good in
Oh, okay.
blocking. They're still bottom 3rd in
Wow.
the league, and he's putting up.
He's
what
making it
doing.
happen.
Yeah, on the Lions side, they lost a heartbreaker last week. I was watching that game. That was a total debacle at the end of the game. But they are producing on offense. Golden Tate is doing his thing. He's running 82.9% of his routes from the slot, which I think gives him a fantastic floor every week.
Yep.
The other receivers, Marvin Jones, kind of a dark flex right now. Just not seeing consistency out of him.
No, he's not.
Galladay,
Not a lot of work.
The preseason and week 1 darling, not getting a lot of work.
Yeah,
out of
a
him.
lot of people blew their load on their budgets on him.
So it's kind
It's
of
just not
a
Not
Tate
worked out.
and then spread the wealth type of offense going
Correct.
on. And luckily for Tate, playing out of the slot, he's going to avoid Xavier Rhodes this weekend. Rhodes won't shadow him. Rhodes is one of those guys we talked
so
about
Marvin
last
Jones
week.
gets to have
Marvin
fun with
Jones
that.
is going to be locked up.
So Jones is an automatic sit.
You're benching Jones.
Okay.
Quickly on the backfield here, Amir Abdullah has been getting consistent volume. He hasn't popped off yet because he hasn't found the end zone and he's not getting a lot of receiving. But as far as RB2s go, I think he's pretty solid and safe.
With the positions of the running back, yeah,
I think he's
have to be.
you know,
I'm feeling totally fine if that's my guy as my 2.
PG2. You know, you could do a lot worse in today's game.
Moving on.
Dallas, LA, right?
Absolutely yes.
Okay. LA totally impressed me last week. Impressed everybody,
Yeah,
I think.
absolutely.
Dallas bounced back with a solid win in Arizona. On the Dallas side, what are we looking at here?
I think Dez's schedule.
What do we expect out of Dez? Yeah.
Dez's schedule finally softens a little bit. I think it was supposed to be like 9 games in a row. It was like, oh my God, he knows, he's gonna do it.
Yeah.
It's like, I think this is a relief for him.
Yeah, he's going to be facing off against Tremaine Johnson.
This is a buy low window, and
who's a good, not Janoris Jenkins, not Patrick Peterson type.
I think if you were a Dez believer who didn't get him,
Yeah.
and you wanted him as a buy low target,
Try to grab him now.
and it's not going to be as cheap as you want it to be, because he could have busted during the first 3 weeks, and his touchdown to
Right.
ability.
Well, that's the
gets
thing with him
thrown.
too, is even in these tough weeks, in these tough matchups, he is as much as any receiver in the league, I think, a weekly threat to score a touchdown. They
Absolutely.
consistently go to him in the red zone.
Absolutely.
He's good in the red zone.
Yep.
Strong
Oh,
hands,
that touchdown.
big body.
Booey!
So I mean, yeah, and when he's not in the end zone, he'll run through some people to get
Yeah,
there.
I would like to see this game where a little more efficiency, more catches, and I would like to see him go.
If he can become a more efficient guy, he has a shot to be the best receiver
Yeah.
in the league.
No, I know. I think
maybe Antonio Brown.
we're looking for at least 80, 90 yards
Hopefully.
for this game.
Hopefully. I feel like it's been forever since he's gone over 100.
Yeah. I don't think there's anything else to talk about on the Dallas side. Maybe have you noticed all of a sudden though is Ezekiel? Like, what do you think? It just seemed. I know he saved the day with the touchdown. He had some big runs, but I guess the line doesn't look as good.
Yeah.
And I don't know, that explosiveness, some of that breakaway speed, I'm just not seeing anymore. Am I overreacting?
Well,
Was I watching the same game as you?
no, yeah, he doesn't look as explosive as he did last year. Maybe he put on a little weight. I wouldn't put that past him.
Yeah.
Maybe he wasn't doing everything he should have been doing in the offseason. I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe the stress of his looming suspension is weighing on his stomach.
The
I don't
stress
know.
of his modern office. Yeah.
I don't know, but I mean, you don't really have a choice as a Zeke owner. You're rolling him out.
Oh, of course. It's more of a, am I selling high?
Right. I mean, I would probably look to some, especially with they're saying this suspension, this could be his last game if they,
Right.
come down with a decision.
Okay.
I feel like
That's
there
a
haven't
good-
been too much news on it.
That's a good
lately,
point.
though,
Yeah, it's
but
been very quiet.
a little
Very
quiet, a little too quiet,
A little,
a little suspicious.
too quiet.
As far as on the Rams side, you're starting Gurley. You're starting Watkins as a 3 or a flex. Otherwise, Cup, Woods, nah.
No.
Okay,
No, it's Watkins and Gurley. That's it.
okay.
That's it.
Bills, Falcons.
Yeah. Look, is this a game where the Bills, that pressure on Matt Ryan, does it kind of hold the Falcons' offense back a little bit?
It could, and they've shown to have a good pass rush so far. Their secondary has played well. Rookie Tre'Davious White, the cornerback, has played extremely well. We could see him on Julio Jones a lot, but if I had to bet on who's going to win that matchup, I'm going Julio. So no, I'm not too worried about the Falcons here, especially on the offensive side. I'm starting obviously Freeman, Julio, your Matt Ryan, your Tevin Coleman, even Sanu I'm okay with. I mean, their offense is just too good. They haven't lost a beat. On the Buffalo side, I think Tyrod is a solid streamer, and I'm looking for McCoy to bounce back right here.
Yeah. And
But,
then,
yeah, sorry.
I agree. It's boom, boom, and then I would say if you're desperate, not even if you're desperate, because tight end's really bad this year.
Yeah.
But Charles Clay, I'm like,
Oh, yeah, I think Charles Clay is a pretty safe back end one
Yeah.
by now.
Charles Clay or
At this
Ben
point.
Watson this week.
Charles.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Quick stat on McCoy. He's averaging 1.17 yards before contact per carry on the season so far.
Seems low.
32nd for all running backs.
Okay.
In comparison to last year,
That seems low.
he ranked first among running backs in the same stat, averaging 2.99 yards
Oh wow.
before contact. So this is really a stat that indicates where the offensive line is at, more so
Yes.
than the running back.
Yeah.
So just for, if you're not doing the math at home, the difference is essentially 2 yards.
It's a lot.
A little bit less than 2 yards, but
Yeah.
it's 2 yards
Right.
before contact. He's getting less this
Yeah.
year. So last year he's getting 3 yards before he's being touched.
Right.
This year he's getting 1. So-
Yeah, I mean, it's not for this reason. This is not what I foresaw coming, but, we were kind of
So the elite Bills offensive line of last year not looking so
Thing of the
elite
past.
this year.
We'll move on, but I'm gonna ask you, as a Julio owner, I'm very frustrated.
Yeah, well, he's fine.
He's allergic to the paint in the end zone.
But he's going to have 3-4 weeks this year where he's going to put up 40 points, where he goes 180 yards for 2 touchdowns, and he wins you the week.
Okay.
And you're not going to be crying then.
I mean, okay. It hurts.
Eagles, Chargers.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Chargers still suck. They cannot win a game. Philly beats the hapless Giants last week on a 61-yard field goal as time expired. So Philly riding high. Chargers not so much. Kind of two teams on the opposite ends of the spectrum right here. Big news out of Philly was obviously Darren Sproles going down with the torn ACL and broken arm. in the same damn play. I don't know how you do that, but ouch, that's gotta hurt.
Yeah, it was like, what's going on there? His right leg was attacked, yet he tore his left one, and then the wrist was in it. Just was,
I don't know, it's a disaster.
Very
But
unlucky.
Wendell Smallwood, for me, is the guy to own now in this backfield. I know LeGarrette Blunt
He hit some nice runs.
had a couple nice runs. He's obviously
Red
going to be
zone
the
guy.
goal line guy.
Yeah.
But Smallwood played 43 snaps last week, 57% of the team total, after playing just 29 snaps total over the opening 2 weeks of the season.
Right.
He's going to slide in to get the passing work while still cutting into Blunt's early down work. So really,
Yeah.
to me, he's the number one with Blunt coming in to spell him.
Did you talk about him on the last episode as a guy?
Wendell?
Yeah.
I don't think I did,
Okay.
but I made that
That one-
preemptive pickup.
Okay. You did. Okay. I was looking to
Shout
give you some
out to
credit.
me.
Um.
But yeah, so Small was the dude for me. Although Blunt can give you some decent weeks here too. Especially, I think Philly's a strong team, and they're going to be leading in a lot of games here.
Even though I got absolutely annihilated trying to stream them against the Giants. Oh sure, Giants half a year, half a year.
You look good for 3 quarters. And then
Couldn't score more than 20 points.
The
and then
Giants woke up, and then
I played Shepard. I played Odell. And, Madonna mia.
Okay, Chargers side I think is a little more interesting here. Phil Rivers has been downright awful. Melvin Gordon has been banged up, highly inefficient. Touchdowns and passing work kind of saving him.
Yeah.
The only guy really impressing me out of LA right now is Keenan Allen, who's getting a lot of volume and he wasn't efficient the first week, but he's been pretty damn good these last 2 weeks, and I'm going to go out on a limb and say he's a buy for me right now because he hasn't had that pop-off game yet, and he's going to be due. Rivers is not going to be this terrible all year. This offense is going to get it going at some point, and Allen's been good while they've been bad, so once they really get rocking, I think he's
definitely one of my favorite
there
targets.
for me.
I wanted to just be like, hold up, let's pump a little bit on Melvin because 17 for 79, while he got hurt with that knee, I
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah, I mean, it's good, not great.
But you're right, Denver was a tough game. Obviously, the Dolphins game was a disaster.
Disaster.
I just love him still.
I know, I love him too.
All right, I'm going to put you on the spot a little bit. I think this is going to be really fun.
Yeah.
We are, due to time constraints, we need to get through, 4, 5 more games?
Yeah.
1, 2, 5. I'm putting on the music, and we're doing the 3-minute drill.
Okay.
All right? So,
All right, so we just switch off games here?
sure.
All right, go ahead. You take 49ers Cardinals.
Okay.
Just
It's a
your idea.
4:05 game. They're in Arizona, the Heat in the West. Larry Fitzgerald pops off for another 100 yards, but J.J. Nelson finds his way back into the end zone. Brian Hoyer finds a way to keep this game competitive, though, as Pierre Garçon gets his first touchdown of the year, and Carlos Hyde sneaks his way in. Cardinals ultimately win the second half, and they win 28-17.
We go to Tampa Bay. In Tampa Bay, the G-Men will visit. Looking to get off the schneid this year. They're going to be really desperate. 3-point underdogs here. I'm going to back them. I like the Giants. Desperate. Tampa Bay came out of their game really banged up on defense. Super banged up. Giants sneak out of this one. Might be ugly. Odell probably going to have to get in the end zone to win them this game. But I'm going to back the Giants here. They're going to win. I'm low on Deshaun, Evans, facing off against the Giants secondary. I think the Giants finally show up and they beat the Bucs here.
Okay. On to Colorado, where the Broncos are back at home to buy their pot. They're coming off a devastating loss to the Bills, and everybody's going to be firing on all cylinders. Raiders struggle to the tune of 2-2. Cooper, you're sitting. Lynch, you're shitting. Carr, you're sitting. Crabtree, you're sitting. And it's the no-fly zone in Denver. Despite last year's embarrassing loss against the Silver and Black, the Broncos right the ship as Demaryius Thomas and Emmanuel Sanders hopping in the end zone. Broncos 21, Raiders 7.
Seattle flies back west, home against the charging Colts. Colts are 14-point dogs here. Not looking good for them. Russell Wilson's big game. He's looking to carry that over. And honestly, I don't see any reasons why it won't happen again. Seattle's defense, this is their chance to get things going again. Seattle reasserts themselves as an elite team in the class of the NFC West. Seattle wins here double digits. Sorry, Colts. Sorry, Jacoby. You're start all your Seahawks. Wilson, Graham, Baldwin, Carson. If you're desperate, Richardson, Lockett have a good shot at a touchdown here. Colts side, don't start anybody if you can avoid it.
Not even Marlon Mack.
No, definitely not. Marlon.
We head over to Monday night. We go to Kansas City, which is actually in Missouri. Kareem Hunt, number 1 pick consensus if we were drafting today, hops into the end zone for his record 4th 50-yard plus touchdown. He scores over 25 points as he leads the Chiefs to a victory. Kelsey sneaks his way to the end zone, and Tyreek Hill goes over Josh Norman for another long touchdown. On the Washington side of the ball, Eric will take it.
That was the last game. That was the Monday night.
Yeah, I didn't do Washington.
Oh, you want me to do Washington?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. Washington. You're starting their running backs if they're playing. Thompson's definitely still in flex territory. While he's hot, you gotta keep riding him. Although I will say, if you could sell, sell. Terrell Pryor, we're all really worried about. Is he gonna show up this time? I don't know. I don't think so. Crowder, I don't know. I really am worried about these two guys here.
Do they have to eventually pop off?
I don't know. Kirk Cousins had a damn near perfect game last week. 350 yards, I think, and 5 incompletions, and these guys didn't do anything. And they had no Jordan Reed.
Yes.
So how do you find me something that says Pryor and Crowder are going to be good this year? I don't know. So yeah, I'm with you. Kansas City taking this one at home. The 7 points right there is looking very tempting.
Wow, they're that high?
Yeah.
Jesus.
Washington's defense was actually the most impressive thing to me out of that game they played last week against
the Raiders. Yeah, well,
that
they
defense played great.
kind of exposed the Raiders a little
All right,
bit.
so real quick, let's get to the picks.
Yeah, let's
Is that
get to
okay with
Eric's
you?
3 lock of the weeks, and then we will get these folks on their way.
Last week we had a tough one as we went 1-2. Chiefs won it for us. They covered the 2.5 point spread in LA. Philly, we had them at 3.5. Unfortunately, they only win by 3 because of the late field goal. They blew a 24-point lead in the fourth quarter. Inexplicable. And then the one we really blew was Denver as 3-point favorites in Buffalo. They lost outright. So on the season, we are 4-5. Not looking great, but not horrible either. This week, I'm jumping right back on Denver and the Broncos coming back home. Simeon's 10 times better at home. The defense is going to be better at home. Oakland kind of turning downhill right now, especially when you throw a good defense at them.
Yeah.
So we're going to take Denver minus the 2.5. Next game, we're going to go to LA, a team I picked against last week, the Chargers. This game is a pick'em between them and Philly. You know, I like desperate teams, and LA is definitely a desperate team right now, but really nothing is working for them. And on the other side, Philly, everything is working for them.
Yes,
I
sir.
mean,
Well,
besides their secondary
yeah.
being banged up and whatnot, But I think the front that I've talked about multiple times before can more than make up for that against a so-so
Sketchy.
Chargers line.
Yep.
Rivers, quick stat for you here. Last 35 games, 9-26.
Oh my god.
Absolutely horrible.
Oh my god.
So I'm going with Philly there. Next, I'll go to the London game. Looking for Miami to bounce back big time. They are 3-point dogs across the pond. I think their offense gets back on track here against just a pathetic Saints defense.
Yeah.
Um,
Just in time to
could
get
be a lot of points scored here.
Get that
but
offense right.
yeah, I
Do
think
we
Miami
worry
gets
about
right.
the time difference at all? Kind of screwing anyone over? Like,
I mean,
you know.
if anything, New Orleans is what, hour.
I think the Dolphins
Behind
have done this trip too. I don't think
Miami?
the Saints have done this trip.
Saints have done it. People forget how long the NFL has been going to London. We've been going there for like almost 10 years now.
Playing soccer there for 10 years?
Yeah. Unfortunately, it's been
Okay.
that long.
Well, I'll try to leave that out of it then, but I have to think that's why the Ravens got so shellacked.
So I'm liking Miami. If Miami had shown up last week and remembered how to play football against the Jets, I think they would be favored here. This is kind of just an overreaction to losing against
Correct.
what is perceived to be an absolutely horrendous Jets team, when
Right.
in reality they played pretty well. So,
Yeah.
So that's what we're going with. Miami +3, Denver given 2.5, and Philly as a pick'em. Those are the three guys. Also, bonus, Green Bay Thursday. I really love them. They're -7 or 7.5 in some spot. I don't like the 7.5. You get them at 7. I'm
You're
okay
taking
with it. I was really high on them earlier in the week when it looked like the two tackles would play and Daniels was going to play. Doesn't look like they're going to, but I still like the Pack at home. They're kind of still looking to assert themselves as top players in the NFC.
Yeah, I'm with you. Let's get the record above 500 first.
Yeah.
Mini wins, baby steps. All right, I think that does it for this week. You know, I got questions. It was a rough week, but just stick with us, stick with your leagues. If you're struggling, if you got questions, comments, just let us know. We'll be happy to help. Don't get too down on yourself, right? About a third of the way through the season, so that can't be true.
Week 3
We're less than a quarter.
was the redemption week.
Yeah.
So if you're still looking to
In theory, a lot of the bad teams should be feeling pretty good about themselves now,
yeah.
right? The famous 8. All right, kids. We love you, and we appreciate it.
Until next time.
Until next time. On 3, he's out.
Emancipate yourselves from mental slavery. None but ourselves can free our minds.